All right, Exponent 7 notes gets into problem solving situations. So here's the whole idea. Question number 1 gives us an area problem. All right, it says what's the area in square units of a rectangle that has a width and the width of 3xy and the length of 4x squared y to the 4th power. Well, basics behind this is that area equals length times width, right? Well, if the length is this expression, 4x squared y to the 4th, and the width is this expression up here, this just becomes a multiplying of powers problem. All right, so it's just taking what we've learned for exponents and putting them into a problem-solving situation. All right, so if you have this situation, again, we can rewrite this as our coefficients together, our powers with x's together, and our powers with y together. All right, so multiplying, remember coefficients don't have any laws for exponents, you just multiply them, we get 12. X to the squared times x to the, there's an imaginary 1, that's product of powers. So product of powers says that we add the exponent, or you can think of E-man. Remember E-man? If I'm at the multiply law, if I'm right here, then the next letter is the operation that we do. If I'm at the multiply law for E-man, then it says that I add my exponents. So 2 plus 1 is x to the 3rd power. Same thing for y to the 4th and y to the 1. Y to the 4 plus 1, that's y to the 5th. And that's your area. All right? So, same thing for question number 2. Question number 2 has a problem. This one talks about the base of a parallelogram and the height of a parallelogram and wants to know the area. Well, for a parallelogram, which is the same thing as a rectangle, it's base times height, or length times width. All right? So if the base is 7xy squared, that's right here, times the height, which is 2x squared y, is just a product rule. All right? So we put them all together. 7 and 2, those are my coefficients. I've got an x times x squared for my x powers, and then my y powers are y squared and y. So I have those same imaginary numbers right there. All right. And again, I'm at my multiply rule, so E-man says to add our exponents. 7 and 2 aren't exponents, though. We just multiply those out. That's 14. X to the 1 and x to the 2, x to the 1 plus 2, that's going to give me x to the 3. And same thing for y. Y to the 2 times y to the 1 is y to the 2 plus 1, which is 3. Alrighty, question number 3. Now this one gets a little bit different. It says the sides of a square are 9x squared y to the 3rd. What's the area in square units? Well, here's the deal about a square. Area of a square is the length of one side squared. All right. Technically, it would be length times width, but in a square, the length and the width are the same thing. So the sides squared is what's going to get me my area of a square. So it says that the side of a square is 9x squared y cubed. So 9x squared y cubed. And we're going to take this and square it. Well, hey, there's an exponent outside the parentheses. That means we got to do power rule. That's saying that 9 is going to be squared, x squared is going to be squared, and y cubed is going to be squared. Well, we write all that out. Looks something like that. All right, and then we can perform all those exponent operations. 9 squared is 81. X squared squared. Remember, if I'm at E-man and I'm at the exponent rule, exponent to exponent, here's an exponent raised to another exponent, the next operation tells me the operation, or the next letter tells me the operation. So if I'm at exponent to exponent rule, I need to multiply exponents. So x squared squared, that's really going to be x to the 2 times 2, which gives me 4. And y cubed squared is really y to the 3 times 2, which is y to the 6th power. That's your area of that square. And then lastly for this problem, or this set of problems, is question number 4. The height of a triangle and the base is, or the height of the triangle is 10x cubed y to the 5th, and the base is 14x squared y to the 4th. What's the area in square units of the triangle? Well, here's the triangle. The area of a triangle is the base times the height divided by 2. Or you could write it as, or we could write it as 1/2 of the base times height. Either way you do it, you're going to have a multiply situation, and then we're going to take the coefficients and divide it in half. All right, so I'm going to use this one. It seems to be a little bit easier. I've shown you a problem kind of like that. So if we have, let's use this formula. We're going to have 1/2, and our base is going to be 14x squared y to the 4th, and our height is going to be 10x cubed y to the 5th. Alrighty? So right off the bat, I've got 3 coefficients that need to be multiplied. 1/2 times 14 times 10. X squareds and x cubed need to be multiplied. And y to the 4th and y to the 5th need to be multiplied. This is multiply rule. So E-man says if I'm at the multiply rule, the next letter is A. So that's what I do with my exponents. Alrighty, but my coefficients, we just multiply them out. 1/2 times 14 is 7. 7 times 10 makes 70. And then here I have x squared times x cubed, which is really x to the 2 plus 3, which is a 5. And then y to the 4th times y to the 5th is y to the 4 plus 5, which is 9. And that's going to be my answer.